consecutive week where Wright has made big plays on special teams. And a guy who can make big plays on special teams for Toronto is number 31, Mike Pinball Clemens. He takes it back to the 30-yard line. A return of 19.
Nobody there.
3 points, Alouettes over Toronto.
You'll never get left out in the cold with MotoMaster, Canada's #1 selling brand of batteries. Available only at Canadian Tire, Canada's auto parts store, made better.
All week, everyone talked about special teams and how important they could be. Toronto was definitely concerned about this man, Chris Wright. He has burned them for a touchdown. And now Doug Flutie faces a 3-point deficit.
Now the other number 2 gets his shot.
Wide open is Mitchell. He makes the catch. He had to concentrate on keeping his feet in bounds for that 23-yard reception.
Well, that's an incredible throw by Doug Flutie with pressure in his face, and Mitchell, nice concentration on the sidelines. As this ball floats him to the sideline, let's see if he works his feet. Got to work his feet. Oh, yeah.
He got them both down inbounds. He only needed one. A 23-yard first down. Doug Flutie now steps back, throws deep for the pinball. He's got it down at the 32. He made the catch in front of Tom Ura. Chris Wright struck quickly. As you said, the other number 2 can strike just as quickly.
And he's done what he normally does whenever his offense gets stagnant. He's gone to a no-huddle offense, Don. He gets people deployed. It takes away any substitutions that Montreal might like to make. Keeps the pressure on the defense.
24-yard gain for pinball. 6 catches now for 72 yards for Michael Clemens. Flutie again. Going this time to Drummond for a gain of about 7.
Well, Doug, when he gets in this mode, his rhythm really starts to get going, and he gets the tempo of the game changed, speeds everything up. Gene Gaines trying to sort things out from a defensive standpoint for Montreal, but this is a big play right here in the game. They're all big when you come to the Eastern Final. This might be the biggest of the game so far.
2nd and 3, Toronto. The ball is at the 26 of Montreal. Toronto trailing by 3 points. Flutie moves Drummond. Fakes inside to Drummond. Has to throw to the sidelines, and he was throwing that one away. He had McSeed in his face, and he had to almost underhand sidearm that ball.
It was phenomenal. He got it out of there, Don. You're right. Great play by McSeed. Little play fake to Drummond inside, and then he wanted a boot off of it, but McSeed stays home. Play fake. Now 31's responsible for bootleg. He does his job. That's execution on defense.
Now Mike Vanderkamp comes into the ball game to attempt a 33-yard field goal that would tie this game at 23. Chris Wright is the lone man back. And the kick is good. What a football game we've got going in this Eastern Final before a huge crowd at Sky Dome. 6:50 remaining in the 3rd quarter.
He's frustrated he didn't get a touchdown, but it's the little things that win football games for you. Field position is one of those little things, and Doug Flutie does it here. He doesn't take a sack, and it's just his athletic ability and be able to, he's a contortionist. He throws the ball off his back foot sidearm out of bounds to conserve field position.
Toronto with the squib kick again, and Armstrong had some problems picking it up. He goes to the outside and then is forced out of bounds by Dennis Montana. A 13-yard return by Chris Armstrong. 23-23 football game during the regular season. The first time they met, July 31st, Toronto won 46-8. Drummond had 4 first-half touchdowns. On October 11th, 28-21 for Toronto, and then on October 26th, 43-38 for Montreal.
And the first game, I believe, is a little misleading. Ham left the game very early with a concussion in that ball game.
Ham directing the attack from the 33. He gives the ball to Pringle. He's caught from behind by Givens and Benson.
Well, it's up to Tracy Ham to control Reggie Givens. Reggie Givens is coming off the wide side and running the play down from behind.
And your X's and O's look pretty good.
Yeah. Givens is such a great athlete. You have to control him with your athletes, and Ham is one of those athletes. He's going to have to boot off of that run.
Ham is going to have to run, and Reggie Givens got a piece of him. And it's going to be close to a first down. The spot will be very critical. It looks as though it could be about half a yard short.
Well, Mike O'Shea drops back in the zone, tries to take Michael Souls, the receiver, away. And then Tracy Ham goes north and south. The impressive thing about that was when he decided to go north and south, as he's come up about a football length short of the first down, was that he had to go about 3 yards to get the first down. He almost got there.
Now, is there any question about the decision that Dave Ritchie will make here?
You got the biggest and best offensive line Dave Ritchie feels in the league. You have the best running back in the league. You run the football here and get the first down. You don't punt it.
5:42 remaining in the third quarter and a 23-23 tie in this Eastern Final. Third down gamble for Montreal. Tracy Ham will keep. He'll get the first down.
And they decided to go with the second best running back on the team in Tracy Ham, which was a wise decision in that situation. No reason to turn, hand the football to a guy that's 5 yards deep in the backfield, just fall forward and pick up the half yard that was needed for the first down.
Well, he went behind Mike Sutherland, Bruce Beaton, and Mark Dixon.
And Michael Souls gets his head in there too, who he's done such a great job this season. Overlooked a lot of times. He does a lot of the on-the-edge blocking for Mike Pringle.
First and 10 Montreal. They're at their own 44-yard line. 4:57 remaining in the third quarter. Souls with only his second carry of the game, and he will be limited to about a gain of 2 yards. This year, Michael Souls has carried the ball the second fewest times in his career, and that goes all the way back to his rookie season in Edmonton, where he only carried 34 times. He's carried 33 times this year.
Yeah, he really hasn't been used, Don. I don't think he's been used at all to his abilities. They're keeping him in the backfield and splitting Pringle out. I believe it should be opposite. Get him out as a pass receiver, let Pringle carry the draw.
Three receivers wide to the right on the second down play. Ham with protection. Armstrong makes the catch, but Bonner wraps him up short of the first down. And this time, I don't think there's any doubt as to the decision to be made by Dave Ritchie. He's looking at 3rd and 2, maybe 2.5. I think he's going to be kicking it away.
He's leaving his offense on the field here, Don. So you talk about believing in a group of people. Dave Ritchie believes in this offensive group.
Well, he's taking a look at the yardsticks directly in front of his bench.
Now, this might be a situation where you do turn and hand the ball to Pringle.
I thought for sure he'd kick it away here. This is a big third down gamble. Ham will keep. He's got it. Ham rolled right to the midfield stripe. Well, we're both 0 for 1. I thought that he'd kick. You thought he'd give it to Pringle.
Well, what he did was he did the best thing, and that was put his 2 best runners up the bat, Ham and Pringle. It was an option play. Ham had the ability to pitch it. Had they taken him away, they didn't. They took Pringle away. He turned up, and I think he has the first down, Don.
Well, I thought he got to the midfield stripe and would have it by about half a yard, but they are going to measure. And it is about a half a yard for a first down.
Well, I tell you what, you got eyes like a hawk.
Every once in a while, I get lucky.
Mike Sutherland, the offensive center here. That's a tough block because he has to ride Waldrop all the way down the line. Waldrop trying to flow to make the play on the option. Sutherland got the head in front and walled him off. Good job, Mike Sutherland.
First and 10 Montreal. 3 minutes remaining in the third quarter. The fake to Pringle. Tracy Ham with time, throwing deep, looking for Climby. Fell over his head. Climby was being bumped by Lester Smith, free safety.
I'll tell you what, they got what they wanted out of the play fake to Pringle, because the 7 interior defenders stepped to stop the run. And Tracy did not recognize the fact that Chris Armstrong had broken clean on the short side of the field. He decided to go to Climby, who was covered pretty well by free safety Lester Smith. So Tracy missed one this time.
Well, it was expected that Lester Smith could play a key role defensively today for Toronto from the free safety position. Second and 10 from midfield. Ham flushed out of the pocket. He decides to take off, cuts back inside. He's got a first down and stumbles inside the 40.
Talk about Tracy Ham not running with the football in the first half, Don. It looks like to me Tracy Ham is doing the same thing Doug Flutie's done. He's taking the game on his shoulders. He realizes he's got nothing down the field. Good blocking by Dixon on Waldron, but it creates a seam for Ham, and now he cuts back, and this is all Tracy Ham. He gets the first down.
Talking to Dave Ritchie, I asked if he'd like to see Tracy Ham run more today, and he nodded his head and said, Well, he ran for 18 there, and now it's Mike Pringle, the ball carrier, and Pringle puts his head down and drives down to about the 27th. The defensive and offensive coordinators of the Toronto Argonauts have some concerns right now. Bill Bradley on the left, John Jenkins in the middle of the picture.
Oh, good blocking on the edge this time. Uzo KK does his job at left tackle, and now Pringle gets on the edge. You see Pringle's speed. He outruns Kelly Wiltshire there to the corner. Adrian Smith has to come up and chop his legs. And first down, Montreal.
From the 26 of Toronto. Tracy Ham for Armstrong. He overthrown. Bonner was defending against the Montreal receiver. It will be second and 10 Montreal with 1:22 remaining in the third quarter.
Well, he put up his top receiver up the bat, his yardage receiver. And a nice move right there to get back to the outside against Antoni Spawner by Chris Armstrong. But Tracy just a little too long with the throw. He had his receiver open, just couldn't get it on him. But I'm starting to see some breakdowns now a little bit in the Toronto defense. Maybe a little bit they're winded. They've been on the field a lot here in the second half.
And for most of the season, that was never the case in many of the games they played. Swings it out to Michael Soles. Michael Soles takes on some defenders, but is stopped short. Johnny Harris was one of those who came up to put a pretty good lick on Michael Soles just when it looked as though the Montreal fullback was going to try and punish some of those defensive backs.
Well, this is the decision Ham has to make. The zone is off. He has to drop the ball underneath the Soles. Now Soles does the right thing, north and south. Nice play by Donald Smith. The big hit came obviously from Johnny Harris, but it was the hit by Smith to chop his legs.
Dave Ritchie was looking for a measurement here, but he isn't going to get one. In this third quarter, Montreal has had the football for 10 minutes. Another third down gamble. What play will Ham call here? He's going to roll out to his left. He's throwing. Touchdown, John Climby. What a third down gamble.
What a call. What a call, Don. You got it exactly right. Who do you think's going to get the football there? Mike Pringle. And then the throw, the super throw. And how about Climby in traffic? Wow, there's three guys. Good play fake by Pringle to fake the play. Ham to boot, good throw, and then a super catch by Jacques Climby. Now Climby has to bluff like it's run, and then he gets behind Harris. Now Harris is right in his face. That's an all-East halfback. He just beat for the touchdown.
Point after by Terry Baker, the final play of the third quarter. On third down gambles on this try. 3 for 3. Montreal, the touchdown by Climby. In his first 6 seasons in the Canadian Football League in Toronto and Ottawa, Jock Climie had the dubious distinction of never having played on a team that won a football game outside the province of Ontario.
Wow. Well, he's made a lot of plays, this Montreal team, over the last couple of seasons, and none bigger than this one. Over the leaping Johnny Harris for the touchdown. Look at everybody crashing to make the play on Pringle in short yards, but Ham throws the ball off his back foot accurately enough for Climie to make the play.
And Climie may have the opportunity to play the most important football game of his career a week today at Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton. The Alouettes lead 30-23 as we start the 4th quarter here at Skydome. Pinball starts out from the 6-yard line. He runs into traffic in the vicinity of the 35. That's where Toronto will scrimmage 1st and 10 after the 28-yard run back. And you have to wonder if Dave Ritchie is thinking, could this be 1994 all over again when he took his 3rd place BC Lions to an upset of Edmonton in the semifinal in the West, and then a victory over Calgary, a last play triumph in the final. Statistically, his team with a strong 3rd quarter now has the lead by a converted touchdown. Doug Flutie steps up, throws, and Masadi catches it at the midfield stripe.
Now this is just a bunch of guys making plays, guys that are used to making plays. Doug Flutie has his leg cut out from under him by Doug Peterson as he throws the ball. Masadi makes a nice adjustment and makes the catch.
A gain of 21. Masadi hasn't been involved very much this afternoon. They have to get him more involved, I would think, to have some success in this drive. They go to Dwayne Demetrius. He makes the big catch and continues on. He powers his way down to the 22. Caught there by Harold Nash.
Well, there's something about playing against Montreal Dwayne Demetrius loves, because he averages over 20 yards of reception against this team. He makes another big grab.
33 yards. He has now caught 3 for 83 yards. Flutie can strike so quickly. Here he is operating out of the shotgun. Demetrius again, he can't hang on. And he takes a hit as he tried to turn upfield from Irv Smith. It will be 2nd and 10. 30-23, Montreal leads. 13:29 remaining in the ball game.
Well, execution comes at a premium at this point, Don, and this is a ball he has to catch. Just made the big catch and run. It's a ball Flutie puts on him to extend the drive, to give him a good situation on 2nd down. He doesn't do it. Now Doug is faced with a 2nd and 10.
The Argos are successful in converting this 2nd down play. It will be the first time they've done it in this half. Mitchell makes the catch. It's going to be close to a 1st down.
This play is made by Mike Kiselak, the center. Daryl Mitchell's going to catch the football. It's a low throw. Flutie throws it off his back foot. But his center, Mike Kiselak, picks up the blitzing Tom Europe. If Europe's not picked up by the center, he hits Doug Flutie right in the face, but instead his center hits him in the face and gives Flutie the time to get rid of the ball.
Less than a yard away from a Toronto 1st down.
Watch Mike Kiselak, 63, fan out right there and take Tom Europe coming on the blitz. Big play, Mike Kiselak. That's why he was the most outstanding offensive lineman in the league last year, and that's why he's the nominee in the East again this year.
3rd down gamble for the Argos. Flutie will keep. He'll follow Mike Kiselak, the center, and pick up the 1st down. In the ball game, Flutie has put the ball in the air 30 times. He's completed 19 for 301 yards.
Well, Kiselak gets a good pop on Doug Peterson right at the point, and all they needed was about a half a yard. And Flutie falls behind his big center for what looks like a 1st down. You know, you talked about Doug over 300 yards now in the game. Coming into this postseason, He was averaging only 264 yards in the air in the postseason as opposed to 304 during the regular season.
Yeah, during the regular season this year, Flutie had 7 games where he passed for better than 300 yards and 3 games with 400-plus passing yards. Flutie operating from the shotgun. First down, Toronto. Ball is at the 12. Flutie flushed out. McSeed's after him. Flutie throws. Andre Kerwan down at the 2-yard line makes the catch.
Well, these Toronto receivers are coming up with some monster catches for Flutie because this is a ball that's a tough catch for Andre Kerwan. Flutie acting like he's going to run, pulls it up, and sees Kerwin coming back to help him, and Kerwin makes a tough catch with Douglas Kraft draped it all over him. This ball's sinking. What a great catch.
And how tough is that for a quarterback running left to throw when you're a right-handed quarterback?
That's just the most difficult throw you can possibly make because he realized that Larry McSeed, who's running down already a couple times this game, was breathing down his neck. Credit Kerwin for coming back and helping his quarterback, too, because I think Doug felt like he was going to have to run there until Kerwin showed.
First and goal for the Argos, a scatter formation. 12-10 remaining. And off to Drummond. Drummond, touchdown. Third touchdown of the game for Robert Drummond, and now an opportunity for Mike Vanderjagt to add the point after and create a 30-30 tie. 76-yard drive for the Toronto Argonauts. 11:58 the time remaining here at Skydome. And we'll be back with the Toronto Argonaut kickoff right after this.